While at work, I suddenly received an anonymous text. The sender asked if I would sell them my phone. If I refused, the consequences would be severe. I thought it was a scam and deleted the message without a second thought. But at lunch, a greedy coworker stole a drumstick from my DoorDash order, and he died on the spot. We thought it was food poisoning, but the doctor frowned and said, "Call the police. Cyanide poisoning. This was a murder attempt." Can you describe exactly what happened at the time? After the police arrived, they took the case very seriously. Homicide is no joke. I started to recount the events. It was just like any other day. I grabbed my lunch delivery, but my boss suddenly asked me to run a file upstairs, so I left the food on my desk. My coworker got hungry and stole a drumstick from the box. And then, the detective nodded. Matches what we saw on the security footage. Our current assessment is that the target was you. Your coworker was just collateral damage. Think carefully. Have you offended anyone recently? I shook my head. I'm just a corporate drone. Who would I offend? At most, I argue with my boss about project proposals. Hearing this, my boss standing nearby jumped in, terrified. "Officer, that's normal work discussion. I wouldn't poison someone over that. It's not even my company." The detective smiled and nodded. "Don't worry. You were in your office the whole time. You had no opportunity to poison the food, so you've been cleared." He turned back to me. "Think harder. Any conflicts of interest that might have happened unintentionally?" Suddenly, I remembered the anonymous text from that morning. I showed it to the detective. He frowned. "It's highly likely this is the person responsible. But why do they want your phone?" I shook my head. "I have no idea." The detective thought for a moment. "Come with me to the station. We need to check if there's anything on your phone." I spent the entire afternoon at the police station, but we found nothing. Photos, videos, chat history, everything was normal. What was the trigger that made someone want to kill me? With no leads, the police had to let me go home, advising me to be careful. As for food, they arranged for someone to deliver meals to me to prevent another poisoning attempt. That gave me some peace of mind. Back home, I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep, trying to figure out how to solve this. The police had traced the number. It was a virtual number, unregistered. The location couldn't be tracked either. All I knew was that until they got my phone, I was in danger. Of course, I couldn't just destroy the phone. That might provoke them further. I picked up the phone and looked through it again. Nothing stood out. Was it like in the movies? Was there a microchip of drugs hidden inside? I examined the phone. It was a foldable, ultra-thin model. Even if there were drugs inside, how much could there be? A few grams? Surely not enough to justify poisoning someone. Unless they were crazy. I felt there must be something else in the phone that made them so desperate. Exhausted by fear, I eventually drifted off to sleep, until a knock on the door woke me up. A voice called from outside. "Hello, I'm with the police department. Delivering your dinner." I groggily moved to open the door, but something felt off. I looked through the peephole. The person was wearing a police uniform, but he announced himself as a police officer. Why was he alone? Don't officers always work in pairs? Just leave it at the door. "I'm in the bathroom." I shouted from the direction of the bathroom. The voice came again. "I have some questions I need to go over with you. Just open the door when you're done." My heart sank. This guy was planning to come in. Logically, if they needed to contact me, they wouldn't wait for meal delivery time. Detective who was handling my case, had my number. He could call anytime. Plus, when I left the station, everyone was busy. They wouldn't have time to personally deliver food. It would likely be a cafeteria worker or an auxiliary officer. I went back to the peephole and stared at the person outside. His cap was pulled low.